Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name's Graham Elwood. Ooh, how do you like the lighting? We brightened it up just a touch, huh? We got the fancy lighting, making my skin look lean and nice. Aw, snap. Folks, great way to support this show is go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, where you can submit articles like this one. All right. You can also please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button, and also positive comments help. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I do not get paid. And the Progressive Comedy Tour is coming to the East Coast, June 12th through the 19th, DC, Baltimore, Philly, New Haven, New York City, and Boston. Go to grahamelwood.com for tour dates. Unfortunately, we had to cancel the Salt Lake City shows and Boise in May because, well, not enough ticket sales. We're trying to come to some red states, and we appreciate it, but if not enough tickets are sold, it's an economics thing. Ron and I pay for our own travel, and if we can't go and lose money, which is what it would end up being. We can't afford to lose money. So sorry to those who already bought tickets and couldn't make it, but make sure you buy tickets to the East Coast. Also, I will be in Tempe, May 12th, panelist for the Jimmy Dore Show. There's still tickets available for that. Check it out. And also, I'll be in Austin, Texas, the following weekend, May 18th, doing shows with Jimmy Dore and stand-up, Jagoff Comedy at the Velveeta Room. So check those out, grahamelwood.com. This article was submitted by Eric Housseau. Eric, thank you so much for supporting the show. It's a great article in Zero Hedge, the propaganda multiplier, how Western media report on geopolitics. This is a fantastic article. I'll put the link in the show notes because it goes into a lot of detail, but I want to just show you the broad strokes of how this happens, of how the ruling class basically gets their narrative out. We think there's all these independent media outlets. There are not. There are 5 multinational conglomerates that control all major media. But here's how they do it. Very fascinating. I wasn't aware that this is specifically how they do it. It's one of the most important aspects of our media system, and yet hardly known to the public. Most of the international news coverage in Western media is provided by only 3 global agencies based in New York, London, and Paris. What? Where do they get their orders from? Well, here we go. The global news agencies are AP, AFP, and Reuters, right? So anytime you hear a story, they always reference these 3. Who's giving them their information? White House, CIA, and the Pentagon. Oh, so that's why the UK has arrested an Australian national citizen to get extradited to the United States, because that guy, Julian Assange, got leaked information by an American soldier, Chelsea Manning, then Brendan Manning, now Chelsea Manning. And that was a threat to these places for the war crimes committed in Iraq, the war that was started illegally by George Bush, perpetuated by Obama, and continued by Trump. See how this works? Who's down here? We think they're so different, right? Fox, LA Times, New York Times, BBC, CNN, BuzzFeed, right? USA Today, CBS, ABC, Wall Street Journal, right? Washington Post. Well, they're like direct to the CIA. See how that works? Let's get into the specifics here. The key role played by these agencies means that Western media often report on the same topics, even using the same wording. You ever notice that? That's how they're able to get it across. They just push out the same wording comes from here, and it's so you read this. Well, I read it at Fox and I read it at ABC, and they're different. They're so different. NBC and Fox are so different. So if they're both reporting on it, there's probably some truth to it. Like there's all these anti-Maduro rallies happening, and they're all being reported on. None of these places are reporting on the pro-Maduro rallies. Are there people in Venezuela that don't like Maduro? Yeah, absolutely. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm sorry, I can't get involved with a CIA-controlled coup of a government that has the #1 oil resources in the world. None of these agencies, news agencies, are reporting on the other side. Journalism is you try to show both sides, right? If you're a real news agency with millions and billions of dollars and hundreds and thousands of researchers and staff people, that's what you would get, right? Here's what the pro-Maduro people say. Here's what the pro-Guaido people say. Here's the number of people at each rally. Here's the percentage of people that are in favor of Maduro. Here's the percentage of people. No. Everyone wants to get, there's people eating garbage cans and Maduro's setting everybody on fire. That's the only angle we're getting. And then you go online, you see Greg Palast, and he shows a drone video flying over all of the pro-Maduro people at the rally. We don't see that from any of these agencies because it came from up here. In addition, governments, military, and intelligence services use these global news agencies as multipliers to spread their messages around the world. They did a study of the Syrian war coverage by 9 leading European newspapers clearly illustrates these issues. 78% of all articles were based in whole or in part on agency reports, yet 0% on investigative research. So again, let's go back. The agency gives this information, it sprinkles down, this is what's going on. None of these agencies, none of these news agencies refute anything they get from here, which actually comes from there. You see that? The white helmets, they've been proven to be a sham, right? And I would just say this isn't just news. I would include in this is the thing I think this article is missing, the entertainment outlets at Fox, at NBC, at CBS, boom, boom, boom. The White Helmets documentary, remember that was like one of the biggest ones, right? Anti-Russian propaganda comes all the way down from the top. That's why Icarus, won the Academy Award for Best Documentary. That's why there's a new HBO special out, a doc-series about Chernobyl and how the Russian government covered it up. I'm sure the Russian government covered it up, right? But there's no HBO story about 3 Mile Island or the cover-up in our Gulf. When the Deepwater Horizon thing happened, we did a movie about that with Mark Wahlberg. It just showed the heroes. It didn't, So they're pushing whatever. Anti-Guaido so we can get their oil. It's going to all come filtered out. Russia, because we want to get into another Cold War because it's good for the defense industry. Boom, 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 right? Moreover, 82% of all opinion pieces and interviews were in favor of the U.S. and NATO intervention, while propaganda was attributed exclusively to the opposite side. You see how they do that? The op-ed piece. Right? I was arguing with somebody in a text, and they're just like, I was talking about the Gray Zone project, and I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, but Ayanna Propali or whatever, she was on Fox News, and this person was just like, oh, she's paid by Maduro. Anyone who says anything pro-Maduro or anti-Guaido is paid by Maduro. They do the same thing. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So the Gray Zone doesn't take any money, to my knowledge, from ExxonMobil or Shell Oil or anything like that, while all these other major news outlets do. So you're asking me who I should believe. Like anyone, so that means Abby Martin is paid by Maduro according to that line of thinking, right? Abby Martin and Mike Preisner are paid by, does that make sense? No, Abby Martin and Mike Preisner are not paid by Maduro. That's complete bullshit, but that's part of the tactic, right? Anyone saying otherwise, they're immediately called propaganda, immediately discredited. Jimmy Dore, Russian asset, pushing the Seth Rich conspiracy. Remember that? It's been called a Russian asset. Well, I'm friends with Jimmy Dore and I've been to shows, so that must mean I'm a Russian asset. See how that works? Immediately discredit. There is something strange about news agencies. They are little known to the public. Unlike a newspaper, their activity is not so much in the spotlight, yet they can always be found at the source of the story. This is 2007, page 9, right? Let's break these three agencies down here, okay? The American Associated Press, with over 4,000 employees worldwide, the AP belongs to U.S. media companies and has its main editorial office in New York. AP News is used by around 12,000 international media outlets, reaching more than half the world's population every day. You see how powerful that is? How when we go back, half of the world gets its information from the AP. You see how this is easily controlled? See that? The quasi-governmental French Agence France, the AFP, based in Paris and with around 4,000 employees, sends over 3,000 stories and photos every day to media all over the world. Well, so the AP, and then we say, like in our news, oh, well, the French have also picked this story up. No, they didn't. They got it from the CIA and the White House and the State Department. Reuters, again, boy, Reuters and the AFP, well, all three are in agreement on this one. They all got the same talking points, which is privately owned and its employs just over 3,000 people. Reuters was acquired by 2008 by Canadian media entrepreneur Thomson, one of the 25 richest people in the world. Well, the billionaires, they don't have an agenda. They don't have an agenda, right? We like the billionaires. If Joe Biden said it, billionaires, the rich people are patriots too. If Joe Biden said it, it must be good. See how it's done? See how easily it's done? How do they buy up all the media? They don't. They just feed them all bullshit. And then the corporation, well, they and then anyone picks up any one of these stories. Types of articles. Total. 55% of all articles come from those three major agencies. So over half of the news reported comes from three sources that get their talking points from the White House, the CIA, and the Pentagon. 23% are mixed. So some from the agencies. Reports, 9% are reports, 10% are op-eds, 2% are interviews, 0% investigative. 0%. Do you see why it's so important to support shows like Empire Files or this show or Jimmy Dore? Because no one else is doing investigative reporting. Do you see why it's so important to support like The Gray Zone and Chris Hedges? Do you see why that's so important? Everywhere else, they're controlling the narrative. These are controlled. These are controlled. I mean, it's unreal. 0 investigative. Ugh. So that's why you support the political vigilante, folks. That's why you get your news on YouTube, because CNN is not going to... Eric, what's her name? Rachel Maddow? She's not going to tell you that. Hannity's not going to tell you that. None of them are going to tell you that. I will. Independent media will. Because I'm not doing this to try to be a famous news person. I'm a stand-up comic that has PTSD from telling jokes in war zones that were created by horrible people like George Bush, perpetuated by Obama, continued by Trump, and I lost my home because of George Bush and Obama and people like Kamala Harris letting Steve Mnuchin do whatever he wants in the state of California. That's why I'm here. I kept getting fucked by them. If they would have given me sitcoms and big movie deals and all this other stuff through their media, I wouldn't be here. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be here. I got a lot of friends of mine who've done well. I was on that same trajectory and it didn't happen. And then I lost my home as a result. I had financial trouble and the system fucked me. So that's why I'm here. Not because I'm getting paid to do it. Because it just ain't right. I need your support to keep this going, to keep talking about this. But I'm not trying to get on MSNBC. I'm not trying to get on Fox or ABC or late night TV, or I'm not trying to be a corporate comedian. Thanks for watching, you guys. Go to grahamelwood.com for everything. Tour dates, merch, all of it. Thanks for watching.